Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashta Prayeshva Bhadresho Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishne Swagatamo Bhagate Dharmajnanadhivisaha Kalau Nashtatrishamish Puranarko Dhunoditaha Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. This is the translation and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder and Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, Savior of the modern world. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Canto 7, Chapter 13, entitled The Behavior of a Perfect Person. Today we're on text number 34. Please repeat. Shoka, Moha, Dhaya, Krodha, Raga, Klaibya, Shrama, Adayaha, Yat Mulaha, Syoho, Nranam, Jahyat, Spriham, Prana, Arthayoho, Buddha, Shoka Moha Bhaya Krodha, Raga Klaibya Shramadayah, Yanmulasyunranam Jahyat, Spriham Pranarthayo Buddha, Shoka Moha Bhaya Krodha, Raga Klaibya Shramadayah, Yanmulasyuranam Jahyat, Spriham Pranarthayor Buddha, Shoka Moha Bhaya Krodha, Raga Klaibya Shramadayah, Yanmulahasyurnanam Jahyat, Spriham Pranarthayor Buddha, Shoka, lamentation, Moha, illusion, Dhaya, fear, Krodha, anger, Raga, attachment, Klaibya, poverty, Shrama, unnecessary labor, Adayaha, and so on. Yet Mulaha, the original cause of all these, Syoho, become, Nranam, of human beings, Jahyat, should give up, Spriham, the desire, Prana, for bodily strength or prestige, Arthayoho, and accumulating money, Buddha, an intelligent person. Translation. Those in human society who are intelligent should give up the original cause, of lamentation, illusion, fear, anger, attachment, poverty, and unnecessary labor. The original cause of all these is the desire for unnecessary prestige and wealth. Money, he says. Please repeat. Those in human society who are intelligent should give up the original cause of lamentation, illusion, fear, anger, attachment, poverty, and unnecessary labor. The original cause of all these is the desire for unnecessary prestige and money. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Here is the difference between Vedic civilization and the modern demoniac civilization. Vedic civilization concerned itself with how to achieve self-realization, and for this purpose, one was recommended to have a small income to maintain body and soul together. The society was divided into Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, and the members of this society would limit their endeavors to meeting their minimum demands. The Brahmanas in particular would have no material desires. Because the Kshatriyas had to rule the people, it was necessary for them to have money and prestige. But the Vaishyas were satisfied with agricultural produce and milk from the cow. And if by chance there were excess, trade was allowed. The Shudras were also happy, for they would get food and shelter from the three higher classes. In the demoniac civilization of the present day, however, there is no question of Brahmanas or Kshatriyas. There are only so-called workers and a flourishing mercantile class who have no goal in life. According to Vedic civilization, the ultimate perfection of life is to take sannyas. But at the present moment, people do not know why sannyas is accepted. Because of misunderstanding, they think that one accepts sannyas to escape social responsibilities. But one does not accept sannyas to escape from responsibility to society. Generally, one accepts sannyas in the fourth stage of spiritual life. One begins as a brahmachari, then becomes a grihastha, a vanaprastha, and finally a sannyasi, to take advantage of the duration of one's life by engaging oneself fully in self-realization. Sannyas does not mean begging from door to accumulate money for sense gratification. However, because in Kali Yuga people are more or less prone to sense gratification, immature sannyas is not recommended. Srila Rupa Goswami writes in his Nectar of Instruction, verse 2, Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraham janasangascha laulyam cha shadbhir bhakti vinashyati. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. 1. Eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. 2. Over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. 3. Talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. 4. Practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them, and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. Or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. 5, associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6, being greedy for mundane achievements. A sannyasi should have an institution meant to preach Krishna consciousness. He need not accumulate money for himself. We recommend that as soon as money accumulates in our Krishna consciousness movement, 50% of it should be invested in printing books and 50% for expenditures, especially in establishing centers all over the world. The managers of the Krishna consciousness movement should be extremely cautious in regard to this point. Otherwise, money will be the cause of lamentation, illusion, fear, anger, material attachment, and material poverty, and unnecessary hard work. When I was alone in Vrindavan, I never attempted to construct mathas or temples. Rather, I was fully satisfied with the small amount of money I could gather by selling back to Godhead. And thus I would provide for myself and also print the literature. When I went to foreign countries, I lived according to the same principle. But when Europeans and Americans began to give money profusely, I started temples and deity worship. The same principle should still be followed. Whatever money is collected should be spent for Krishna and not a farthing for sense gratification. This is the Bhagavata principle. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shoka Moha Bhaya Krodha Raga Klaibya Shramadayah Yanmula Syurnranam Jahyat Spriham Pranarthayor Buddha. Those in human society who are intelligent should give up the original cause of lamentation: illusion, fear, anger, attachment, poverty, and unnecessary labor. The original cause of all these is the desire for unnecessary prestige and money. So, we have quite a list here. There are at least 8 items that are explicit, 7 or 8, Actually, there's more like a dozen. Where are they? They're in the commentaries. The key word here is adi. Adi means etc. in Sanskrit. Here it's plural number, adayaha. So we have shoka. Where does shoka come from? Shoka means grief, lamentation. When are you feeling shoka? Vinashe, when you're destroyed, or when something that you're fond of is destroyed. And that always happens. Make no mistake about it. Don't have unrealistic expectations. Whatever makes you giddy and euphoric now will be the cause of shoka later on. It's a fact. So then we have moha. Moha means this great illusion that drives us on in this hopeless endeavor. Even though we know everything will be destroyed and we'll feel shoka later on, still we ignore it. That's called moha. And bhaya, these two are vidyamane. They're at present going on. Shoka and bhaya. Bhayam dvatiya bhiniveshata syat ishad apetasya viparya yosmrtihi. This is the idea. In the 11th canto, Krishna tells Uddhava, I think, that whenever we turn away from Krishna, then our immediate companion, our constant companion from that point on is fear. And that fear, it causes us so much suffering. We heard yesterday, especially the more you accumulate in this material world, the more you have to worry about it. You have to worry about it. So, these are the present things. And then, what's next? Krodha. Where does krodha come from? Apaharake. When somebody rips off everything that you have. In America, they have a saying. A liberal is a conservative who has not been ripped off enough times yet. So, the fact is that you are going to lose everything, and sometimes in the most ignoble ways. People steal things from you, especially here. Is it not a fact? They're cheating everywhere, all the time. That's another point we'll get back to. So, apaharake, when somebody takes away everything, then what are you left with? What is your state at that point? Klaibya. Klaibya. What does klaibya mean? It's a strong term. It means a few things. Huh? Napumsakalinga. You become completely, everything is lost. You can't do, impotent, we say. You can't do anything. So you're mistreated, and you've lost everything. You're feeling shoka. You're afraid of the next thing. It might even get worse, because it always can. And then you're feeling this anger as well, but there's nothing you can do. This is called klaibya. What has Shakespeare said? To be or not to be, that's the question. Whether it's better to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous misfortune. Has anyone ever suffered outrageous misfortune? Just wait, if you haven't. Wait until Shani starts administering your karma. Then you know what is outrageous misfortune at every step. You cannot do anything about it. This is called klaibya. Completely unable. One acharya commenting here says, Tatra akinchana karatve klaibyam. Means you cannot do anything. What a frustrating existence. So then, what is the next one? Shrama. Uparjane shrama. When we are accumulating too much, it doesn't walk into your mouth. Nahi suptasya singhasya pravishanti mukhe maragaha. Hitopadesh tells us, even if you're the king of the forest, and it is a forest, the forest of material enjoyment, and you may be the biggest animal, whether to say the alpha male, these proud world leaders now, without mentioning any names, We can mention Russia, we can mention the United States, we can mention China, for example. They're like proud lions going around the world trying to expand their domain, but even they have to work hard to maintain it. For this, we heard yesterday. Don't want to dilate too much on that. So, shama, therefore you get fatigued. The process of Maya naturally wears down everyone in this world. You have plenty of energy and enthusiasm and strong desires to drive it when you're young. But as you get older, you just can't fight anymore. This is the fact. And every one of us is pushed one way down the tubes of time. There's no choice about it. Klaibya. You see? Therefore, one Acharya says, actually, the root of all this is klaibya. You are, in fact, completely bereft of any ability to do anything. Shabda ke paurusham vrishu. Krishna says, I am the manhood, he says, paurusham. Again, it's the same implication here. I am the ability, he says. So, these are the things we suffer. And what's next? There's more. Adi. We forgot about that. Adi means etc. So what else is coming? There are three things mentioned here. Kalaha. There's quarrel. Sometimes even you don't want to quarrel with somebody, but somebody wants to quarrel with you. Isn't it? You're not interested, but somebody's interested in you or what you have. This is the nature of this world. Therefore we're fearful, as we've described already. So kalaha means quarrel. And after all, this is the age of quarrel. Kali Yuga. It's exacerbated now. So then we have what's next? Matsara. We're envious. Admit it. We're envious. We are envious. Not them. Us. We are envious. This is the thing. The bull of dharma in Kali Yuga is hobbling only on one leg, and that leg is honesty. And if we are honest, then we have to introspect a little bit and admit, yes, I'm also envious. Because I'm envious of Krishna, therefore I'm also envious of others. This is the point. And that envy goes very deep. It's not so easy thing. So matsara is another one. Dainya. Dainya. Now, this is an interesting word. What does dainya mean? In Vaishnava context, dainya means humility. Humility. In fact, this concept is so much glorified among the Vaishnavas that Sanatana Goswami can write in his Brihad Bhagavatamritam that pure, perfect, pure prema, love of Godhead, is non-different from absolute dainya, absolute humility. They are one and the same thing. If you have absolute humility, then you have pure love of Godhead. If you have pure love of Godhead, necessarily the characteristic will be seen. You have absolute humility. But dainya means more than just humility. Why humility? Look at it in terms of humiliation. Dainya also means you're downtrodden. You're stepped on like the grass, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Raise your hand if you're interested. Actually, we're chanting for this thing only. Gurudev kripa bindu diya koro e dashe trinara bheka atihin. You're asking, if you sing this song ever, please humiliate me. Dainya means that. You become pushed down and poor, it also means. Therefore, I think Prabhupada says poverty. No, he's translating klaibya means poverty. If you got no money, you can't do anything. Especially here in India, we all know. So dainya means that. And then adyaha, still there's more, but this is enough. We have 11 items now. And all of these have one thing as the root. What is the root? You should know by now, we've already read it. The spriha, aspiration. One very nice poem is there in Sanskrit. Dina yaman yao pratah sayam shishira vasantau punar ayatam kala kridati gachati ayuhu tarapina munchati asha vayu. What does it mean? Day comes, night comes. They go in cycles. Pratah sayam. There's evening time, then there's the next morning as well. Pratah kala. And shishira vasanto. Summer comes, winter comes, spring comes, fall comes. All the seasons change in their order. Punarayata. This is going on again and again and again. Kala kridati. Kala. Time plays with all of us. Gachati ayu. And your life goes. Tarapina munchati asha vayu. Still, we don't give up this spriham, this bundle of hopes that is as dear as life. Vayu. Vayu means your prana. The word here is used. Prana. So, let's talk about that for a moment. What kind of spriham should an intelligent person give up? Well, first of all, who is an intelligent person? Have we defined it here? No. Viragavacharya defines in his commentary. He says, Buddhaha heyopadeya vivekavan. An intelligent person is a person who is able to discriminate what should be accepted and what should be rejected. Have we heard from Krishna about this also in Bhagavad-Gita? Who knows? One person in the room is reading Bhagavad-Gita at least. Shubha Krishna, Jorse. Yeah. Buddha, an intelligent person, doesn't indulge in sense gratification because he knows any mode of sense gratification you may choose, it's only dukkha yoni. Same principle as today's verse. The cause of all these anarthas, Sridhar Swami says, Ato anartha hetutvat pranerthe cha spriham na karyati ityaha. In this verse he's saying, because this desire for these two things is the cause of all anarthas, an intelligent person gives it up. But actually I was thinking of something else. Krishna says we should, in chapter 16 of Bhagavad-Gita, he said, how should we decide what to do and what not to do? That means what to accept and what to reject, does it not? What does he say? Yes shastra vidhim utsrujya vartate ityadi. Or tasmat shastram pramanam te karya vijanataha. Sridhar Swami has used the word karya. It means something that should be done. What should be done? What the Shastra tells you should be done. This is how we live as human beings. If we're not, or if we're less interested in being human beings, then we neglect what the Shastra says, and we do so many other things. And then we suffer in all these ways. 11 ways we've mentioned so far. So Viragavacharya says, a person who's able to, who has discrimination between what should be accepted and what should not be accepted. This person is intelligent. So this person should jahyat, tyajet, he should give up spriham. What kind of spriham? Tayoho, for two things. What are those two things? Prana and artha. Now this is where it gets very interesting. Prana means, we've been discussing, your bundle of hopes that are as dear as your prana itself. Prana means, according to Srila Prabhupada, all the other acharyas also commenting here, physical strength. Now, physical strength is actually an asset. So, what's wrong with that? To be strong and to be hale and hearty, as we say. The problem is this, according to Vamshidhara Acharya. He says, pranotra sambhogadi prayojakam balam. As soon as we get strength, and we can extend it, as soon as we get facility in this world, what do we do with it? We immediately invest in sense gratification. Just like if you live in MVT and you look out your window in the early morning on the lawn, you will see dozens of Europeans doing yoga, huffing and puffing and stretching, and why are they doing it? They're not chanting Hare Krishna. What are they doing? The yoga, it's well known. Prabhupada writes extensively in his books. To reduce fat, to get health. What is the health for? Sambhogadi prayojagam padam. For enjoyment, sense gratification, ultimately sex life, we've heard before. So this is the problem with strength. And therefore, several acharyas have said, they've qualified, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he writes very nicely about this. He says, Sharira baladhikyartham dhanadhikyartham cha nayateta. One should not endeavor for more strength than is necessary to keep body and soul together. Just like now in India, within the last 10 years in India, we see these big fat guys with muscles and big, they're all bodybuilding now in India. I've seen even priests in the temples, they look like this now because they're cultivating a different kind of intelligence. They're not cultivating hiopadeya viveka, you see? And sometimes they have the tattoos also. They got the earring, all the GQ stuff, if anybody from America knows what that means. Anyway, so this is the problem. He says, too much physical strength is not a good idea for the same reason that we've already described. And dhanadhikyartham cha, too much money is very dangerous. Anyone who's visited Mayapur, you may have some insights about this. Too much money, sometimes it's a problem. So, solpena api balena, solpena api dhanena, paramarthika kritya siddher iti bhava, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. The idea here is that even with just a little bit of physical strength, and even with just a little bit of money, you can achieve perfection in which endeavor? Paramarthika kritya, the activities necessary for attaining the supreme goal in life. This is the point. You don't need to have so much money. So many times I've seen people, they're thinking, I'm going to work hard, shrama. How hard? Tena, foaming at the mouth. Therefore this world is called pavarga. We don't need to go there, you understand. So they work hard, generally they don't make the money because you can't make it unless you have the karma for it. But they waste their lives. But even if they do make money, then the idea is that I'm going to make all this money and I'm going to give it all to Krishna and preach Sankirtan, and it doesn't happen. Once the money comes, they get intoxicated by it, they invest it south, and who knows? They experience all these 11 items, shoka, moha, bhayadi. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given us the best advice of all the commentators until we read Srila Prabhupada's purport. We find that, as he typically does, Srila Prabhupada really just amplifies everything that has been said before about the verse. And in today's verse in particular, he is emphasizing the social aspects. It's interesting. He brings in Varnashram here. Nobody else has done that before him among the predecessor acharyas commenting, but Srila Prabhupada evidently felt very strongly about this. Here's the difference between Vedic civilization and modern demoniac civilization. We heard this the other day. Sanskriti. Sanskriti means your culture or your society. It actually means your refinement, does it not? Samskara. Samskara to samskriti bhavet. From following samskara, you become refined. And therefore the word for that result is samskriti. This means culture. Culture. The word Sanskrit is very closely related because there are other kinds of languages. What is the alternative if you don't want Sanskrit? What do you get? Prakrit. Prakrit means wild. Just like if you let your lawn grow, all the grass just grows tall, you never prune any bushes, it just becomes a mess. This is called prakrita. This is the nature of this material world. If we want to gain something positive from it, we have to work in a certain way. We've already described the way that we have to work it. We have to follow the injunctions of the Shastras. That is the user manual, so to speak, of this material world. So, part of these injunctions are to follow Varna Dharma and Ashrama Dharma and other kinds of sadachar, or shishtachara, we say. The activities that are seen amongst those who are fully trained and reliable authorities. This is what Prabhupada is indicating here. The modern standard is different. The modern standard is completely irresponsible. The ideal is unmitigated sense gratification. And the means to attain that end is exploitation without any regard for others. So Prabhupada has very nicely defined here how the Vaishyas are satisfied with farming and protecting cows. And only if there's a little bit extra. Krishi, Gorakshya, then Vanijyam. You're doing the farming first, then you're protecting the cows, and if there's anything, then excess, he says. Then you can do some business. Now it's the other way around. The cows are killed. The vegetables won't grow anymore because you've tweaked them genetically too much, or you've stolen all the seeds and won't give them out anymore. The cows are all being killed. What are you going to do? You're going to eat paper. Do you know about this? I've said this before. Badri Narayan Maharaj told me. In Massachusetts Institute of Technology, they've done some research where they get edible paper and they print all the nutrients onto that paper in exactly the same way that your color printer prints a color document. And then people eat that. That way we can keep exploiting you, we can wipe out the environment totally, and you can still somehow live. Is that a human life? It's coming. This is real. This is a long time ago, 10 years ago. This was going on. Who knows what they're doing now? And that's when the clones don't grow up and start taking charge of world positions. Anyway, so Prabhupada is railing on this. Not exactly railing on it, but he's pointing out that there is a positive alternative, but it requires santushti, internal satisfaction. And that santushti only comes when you, what is the word I want to use? You tame this wild mind which desires so many things, especially in the realm of prana, needless physical emolument, we might say, and artha, too much money. These are the two things. Now, Srila Prabhupada is also taking it a step further in that he interprets here prana as for bodily strength or prestige. How does prestige come into the picture here? Anyone have any ideas about this? Prana artha. We're dealing with money and we're dealing with nice physical situation. This is the cause of one's prestige, it would seem. We know that in India, people will pretty much do anything for money. If you live in Nepal, you might sell your daughter in order to get money, even knowing that your daughter is probably going into prostitution. People do this. They'll do anything for money. But is it really money, or is it prestige? They'll also kill the bahuji in a household if there's not enough dahej, dowry. They do it. Kerosene accident, or they have other more creative ways to do it nowadays. But they'll kill. Or if she somehow brings shame into the family, this is a particular problem in Pakistan, then they'll also kill. In this way, they feel the family's prestige is maintained. This is called tamoguna, and it's a perversion of society. So money and prestige are closely related, but even health, not health, but physical, what do you want to say? Huh? Stamina, yeah. I mean, why are they so nuts about somarasa in the Vedic literature? Because it enhances all of your senses. It gives you what Facebook would call an enhanced experience. So that's why people take drugs also, because they want some enhanced sensory experience or mental experience. Now, 3/4 of the population of Punjab below age of 30 is addicted to hard narcotics, heroin, just like the Americans, opioid crisis. Because the nunam pramatta kurute vikarnama yad indriya pritaya apranoti, Rishabhadev tells us very nicely. Because of a bodily misconception of life, everybody has to struggle for sense gratification. They have to kill anybody who gets in their way. Therefore, everybody's in anxiety. It's a mess. And it all comes from this unreasonable desire for needless enjoyment apart from Krishna. Exploiting Krishna or his things, evading Krishna or his authorities. This is what we do. And it's needless. And it causes all of these problems. All anarthas, Sridhar Swami has already written. So, Srila Prabhupada then, he doesn't leave us hanging with this doomsday scenario. He talks also about what to do positively. And he's quoting from Upadeshamrita. Ati ahara. Ahara means not just eating, it means taking in. Ahara. We discussed this already. Aharakam means to steal something even. But to take in more than you need, to eat more than you need, to get more money than you need, a bigger house than you need. There are people in America, believe it or not, they actually cannot imagine living unless they get a brand new car every year. There are such people. This is called ahara, ati ahara. And, you know, we've all seen people, especially these Delhiwalas, they come to Vrindavan and they're all mota. Nobody's working hard anymore, but everybody's still eating a rich diet. That's why they all have diabetes as well. Anyway, ati ahara. Prayasha means unnecessary endeavor. This is very closely related. That's why Prabhupada quotes it. Prajalpa, welcome to Facebook, at least 50%. Prajalpa. Niyama agraha. Either you become a fanatic and don't understand the purpose of the rules and regulations, but you follow them very persnickety mood, or you just blow them off and become an independent. Indi bhakta. Or you do something whimsically, which we've already described. Yashasra vidhim utsrujya vartate kama karataha na sasiddhim avabnoti na sukham na param gatim. He says, if you become whimsical like that and just blow off what the Shastra says, or feel like you interpret that it doesn't apply anymore, or so many creative ways our minds deal with these things, then he says you don't get happiness, you don't get the supreme destination, you don't get any kind of perfection. This is chapter 16. So niyamagraha, and then janasanga. Really the cause of all these things is janasanga. Associating with worldly minded people who are not interested in making advancement while they can. How long are we here in this human form of life? Where do we come from? Who is our real relative? Where are we going? Ekuchamalam karana. So understand something about this while you can, because the opportunity won't last, and you don't know when it's going to end. Okay. And lolium, this is the same thing as this greed. These things destroy bhakti. We have to pay attention. Usually we see that when someone is having problems in Krishna consciousness, he is neglecting the second and third verses of the Upadeshamrita. Almost all the time, this is true. Almost always. Especially this principle of association. So, Srila Prabhupada usually doesn't switch into the first person in his purports, but in today's purport he's doing this. He's talking about his own personal example. Yesterday I read a letter that Prabhupada had written to his godbrother Van Maharaj. And he's describing exactly what Prabhupada has written maybe 10 years later in this purport. that he was writing from America. He's telling Ban Maharaj, here in America you have to have a place that you can bring people. It's not possible to preach here without that. He said in India maybe it's okay, but in America you need this. Therefore, around that time he began to build so many temples. Actually, in 1977, Srila Prabhupada was touring the facility in Manhattan that he was very proud of. One of his disciples later sold it and then fell down. But Prabhupada was touring that facility and looking at the kitchen. He was very happy, very pleased. And he told Tamal Krishna Goswami at that point, he said, from now on, don't open any more temples. Only open restaurants and reading rooms. He wanted reading rooms, a place where people can come and just hear something. He was very, very dynamic in his always thinking about how to preach Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada is telling us what was his principle. Not a farthing for sense gratification. Everything should be invested in spreading Krishna consciousness, especially through printing and distributing books, his books. So this is how he ends the purport. I'm also going to end here. Just a few words, because today is the most auspicious day, in the most auspicious place that we could be on this day. It is the appearance day of Gadadhar Pandit Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intimate, most intimate associate. More than even Sarup Damodar. Why? What is his ontological identity? He is the Sarup Shakti of the Lord, Ladini Shakti. Someone has written, Gadadharamaham Vande Madhavacharya Nandanam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Gadadhar Pandit, who is the son of Madhava Acharya, Mahabhava Surupaya Chaitanya Bhinnarupinam. He is the very embodiment of this Mahabhava. He is the very Sarup, or the essence of this Mahabhava, Srimati Radharani's mood, and Chaitanya Bhinnarupinam. His form is not separable from Chaitanya. We can interpret this two ways. Abhinna means non-different also. So he's one and the same Lord, but manifest in a slightly different way. Or, because they were inseparable friends, you can see it that way as well. Shri Hladini Sarupaya Gauranga Suradayacha. This is the idea. He was a dearmost friend of Lord Chaitanya from childhood, all through life. And he was the embodiment of the Hladini Shakti. Bhakti Shakti Pradhanaya. He is the one who gives the Bhakti Shakti to us. If we want to participate in bhakti, it is by his grace. We can even go so far as to say by her grace. All of us are very closely, we all depend so much on Gadadhar Pandit Goswami, those who live in Vrindavan. Why? Because in Vrindavan we're all trying to take shelter of Srimati Radharani. In the Kali Yuga, how do you do this? Only through Panchatattva. And particularly Gadadhar Pandit Goswami, he is the essence of Srimati Radharani. Gadadhara Namostute. Gandharvika Surupaya. Gauranga Prema Sambhade. In terms of the wealth of his transcendental love for the Lord, he is Gandharvika herself. Gandharvika means Srimati Radharani. Gadadharaya me nityam namostu hi kripalave. Therefore I always bow down unto this Gadadhar Pandit, who is the most merciful. I was going to read just a few references from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita about this. Time is limited, I know, but at least one thing I should read. In the Adi Lila, chapter 10, text 15, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Gadadhar Pandit, the fourth branch, is described as an incarnation of the pleasure potency of Sri Krishna. No one, therefore, can equal him. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. And in the Ganodesh Deepika, verses 147 through 153, it is stated the pleasure potency of Sri Krishna, formerly known as Vrindavaneshwari, is now personified in the form of Sri Gadadhar Pandit in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Sarup Damodar Goswami has pointed out that in the shape of Lakshmi, the pleasure potency of Sri Krishna, she was formerly very dear to the Lord as Shyama Sundara Vallabha. The same Shyama Sundara Vallabha is now present as Gadadhar Pandit. Formerly as Lalita Saki, she was always devoted to Srimati Radharani. In the 12th chapter of this part of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a description of the descendants or disciplic succession of Gadadhar Pandit. There's so much more, but time doesn't allow. In general, we can say Gadadhar Pandit Goswami was always very submissive to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He always manifested the character of the fully predominated devotee. Fully predominated. This is Srimati Radharani. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu often did not fulfill his desires, often neglected him. He wanted to go to Vrindavan. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Vrindavan, he was prepared to give up his life's vow of living at Jagannath Puri. In fact, he did. He went as far as Kartak. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very stern and sent him back. No, you cannot come. Just see. He embodies with the essence of the moon that Srimati Radharani expressed when her friends came to her in Vrindavan after the departure from Vrindavan of Lord Krishna. They told her, look, this Krishna, he's not coming back. He's taken advantage of you, and you've given your life to him. Now you're suffering like anything in his absence. Why don't you just forget about Krishna? He's not helping you at all. This is what her friends were telling her. What did she say in response? She said, Ashlishyava paradatam pinashtumam adarshanat maramahatam karotuva yatha tatha va vidithatu lampato mat prananathas sevana naparaha. I know he's a lampata. Very strong word. What does it mean, lampata? Rascal. Complete rascal is not a strong word in English. In Indian English, it's a strong word. Reprobate, cur, cad, scoundrel, libertine, all these things. She knows this is him. And still she says, but he's the Lord of my life and no other. I can't change this. This is Gadadhar Pandit's character as well. We see throughout Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, he manifests this particular aspect of Srimati Radharani, her character. There's so much more to say, but my realizations are limited and the time is also limited. So I'm going to stop here, but if anybody has any comments or any questions, I can take maybe one or two, yes. There should be a microphone here for you.
Very good. Thank you for the nice testimony. You mentioned about Prabhupada's instructions in New York about
Prabhupada's instructions to, yes.
In New York about not opening more centers,
right.
temples, but opening restaurants and reading rooms.
Yeah.
I know that the Christian Science, for example, at least in America, they have reading rooms all over.
That's where he got the model from. Tamal Krishna Maharaj told me this, yeah.
But my question is, we don't normally see reading in here.
No. We've created some restaurants in America. We've not created reading rooms. I mean, to some degree, some people, they call it a lounge nowadays, or in the 90s they were calling it that. But yeah, this is one of those instructions that have fallen by the wayside. But frankly, if you look and see in the Western world, particularly in America, because I'm familiar, those temples that are flourishing are the temples that have restaurants attached. Always. Those temples flourish. Because practically speaking, it's the only way to get Western, their whole mode of existence is sense gratification only. You have to provide, you see? And this is Prabhupada's secret weapon. Prasadam is so powerful. Never underestimate. Is that okay? All right, one more. Yes, Prabhuji.
You were speaking about money, a lot of money. So the temptations are always there when you see a lot of money. But Prabhupada, example, you can see that Prabhupada, he has so much money. But he said this all money is in the service of Krishna. Nothing for personal gain. Never thought that this money is not for me or I should have something for me or for my family or something. But time goes and people, they are so much tempted for this money purpose. And for money purpose, they are willing to do anything.
Yeah, I would say, I'm just going to interject here, Indians are more challenged in this way than Westerners. Westerners have their own set of anarthas. Indians have this problem. It's a fact. There's so much more that I could say about this. One sannyasi, respected elderly sannyasi, said, Indians are more attached to money than Westerners are to illicit sex. So it's a problem. And in fact, if you read Manusmriti, you'll find there's a whole list of sins, papas, and mahapatakas, great, mortal sins, we say in Catholicism. At the top of the list, it's not like murder and rape and other things. It's stealing and greed and all the other things associated with the desire for money. So this has been going on for a long time. Money is very, very dangerous. And therefore it's a great challenge to accumulate so much money and to not either neglect it or misspend it, or so many things people do. It is a great challenge. You are going to continue. All right, Del.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.